The nurses at the hospital are all rizzed up by Sun Jin-woo's transformation due to training every day. A nurse walks into his room and gets enticed by his amazing body. She lets him know he's discharged from the hospital today, and she asks for his number. He gives his number to her and thanks her before leaving. On the news, they are interviewing Baek-yuno, and he tells her he's busy every day because of training to keep his battle sense, and he has to manage his guild. Later, Yuno warms up by blasting a hole through a block, and it crumbles afterwards. Before Jinna goes to school, she notices Sun Jin-woo's transformation, and she heads out to school after complimenting his body. Before he goes out to run to finish his daily quest, he puts some of his stat points into agility because it could help him land his attacks, and the rest into strength and vitality. Sun Jin-woo looks for a raid to do because his rent is due and he doesn't want to make the landlord wait. He wants to do a higher rank gate, but he doesn't want to stand out until he knows everything about the system. Sun Jin-woo runs over to finish his daily quest and joins Dongsaku's party for a raid. They want Sun Jin-woo to be a filler so they can meet the raid quota. Sun Jin-woo's job will be the baggage holder and they will pay him 2 mil for it. He signs a contract so the party won't be liable if anything happened to him during the raid. Yojino introduces himself and Sun Jin-woo is surprised he is splashing on his equipments. Once they are ready, they head into the gate, but before they go in, they question if the gate is a C rank because it is quite big. Dongsaku leads them in and he gets Kaiyu Hwan to brighten up the dungeon. Sun Jin-woo notices monsters are around them, but they aren't showing themselves yet, and he tells them they are insect monsters. Dongsaku tells them to prepare for battle, and the others are worried because they might be in a monster's nest. The ants are coming from above and Kaiyuan blasts some of the ants, but the ants continue to rush down onto them. The other party members try to eliminate the ants and Dongsaku uses his taunt skill to get all the ants' attention. Kaiyuan throws a fire blast at the ants and the other kill off the remaining ants. Sun Jin-woo notices their great teamwork while Jinno's equipment is making up for his lack of experience. An ant tries to sneak attack Sun Jin-woo and he easily kills it with just his kick. Once they killed off all the ants, they collected the essential stones and split it into 7 ways. Dongsaku thanks Sun Jin-woo for notifying them in advance to prevent major injuries. Kaiyuan calls Dongsaku because he thinks there's other monsters here because the ants have wounds not caused by them. Sun Jin-woo tells Jinno to be careful because he thinks the other party members are sus. They keep exploring the dungeon after resting a bit. Sun Jin-woo thinks the deal was too good to be true because all he had to do was carry baggages to earn 2 million. Also, the party is a battle-tested group without a healer and still needs people to fill up the quota, so that made Sun Jin-woo uneasy. They go to the boss chambers with caution and finds a room full of mana crystals. Jinno looks at Sun Jin-woo's contract and tries to help him get a share of the mana crystals. Dongsaku agrees to share with everyone, but they have to deal with the spider boss first. Luckily, the spider is asleep so they can mine the crystals before fighting it, otherwise if they beat it first, they are forced to leave the dungeon shortly after. Dongsaku leaves with his party to grab something and he gets Sun Jin-woo and Jinno to watch the boss monster. Sun Jin-woo wonders where the regular quota fillers are, and Dongsaku gets Kaiyuan to seal off the boss chamber, which wakes up the spider. When Dongsaku trapped them inside, Sun Jin-woo knew for sure they were corrupt. Jinno regrets bringing up the contract because he thought they did it due to greed. When the spider approaches them, Jinno takes the lead because Sun Jin-woo is still in E rank. Sun Jin-woo thought the spider was a whole different level, but he remembered the statue and took the lead because he wanted to fight the spider alone. One of them wonders why they had to do all these pointless things because they could have just eliminated Sun Jin-woo and Jinno. Dongsaku didn't want to fight because they didn't want to wake up the spider. He also doesn't believe Sun Jin-woo and Jinno could beat the spider themselves. So once the spider devours them, they can collect the mana crystal in peace. He also saw another way into the boss room so they don't need to blast away the blockade. If the spider isn't asleep, then they would have to defeat the spider and loot Jinno's expensive gear if they can't grab enough mana crystals. In the boss room, Jinno doesn't believe Sun Jin-woo can solo the spider due to his rank and wants to think of another way. Sun Jin-woo thinks he's still too weak because the other bosses he beat before are ranked lower than the spider. For some reason, Sun Jin-woo doesn't feel intimidated enough to give up, and he thinks he's gotten stronger to face off against a C-rank boss. He dashes in and starts attacking the spider because the real hunt has just begun. When attacking the spider, he notices the spider's exoskeleton is hard and it attacks with tremendous power, so if he gets hit, he dies. Jinno sees Sun Jin-woo's movement and he doesn't believe he's in E rank. He thinks Sun Jin-woo faked his rank by controlling his magical power, and he is quite scared because false rankers are usually lunatics who kill for fun. Sun Jin-woo is getting fatigued and he needs to kill the spider before he starts slowing down. The dagger's special ability is the key to help defeat the spider, and he looks for its weak spot. When he rushes in, the spider spits acid at him. Due to the situation, he dismisses the risk to get closer to it and uses his new dash skill to rush in. He wasn't able to land his attack, so the debuff got cancelled and he was forced to back off. He keeps on trying to land a hit, but Jinno doesn't believe he has enough stamina to keep up with his current speed. Right when Sun Jin-woo was closing in on it, his fatigue reached too high, and that gave the spider a chance to knock him away. The spider goes in for the kill, but Sun Jin-woo uses his full recovery just in time to escape death. When the spider noticed he wasn't there, Sun Jin-woo was able to land a hit which activated the debuffs. He keeps on stabbing the spider until he defeats it due to the debuffs, preventing the spider from moving. Sun Jin-woo is glad he saved his daily reward, otherwise he would have died. Jin-woo thinks Sun Jin-woo is amazing because he soloed the boss monster and believes he's a false ranker. Sun Jin-woo collects the essential crystal from the spider and Jin-woo starts acting sus. He starts treating Sun Jin-woo like his master and starts mining the mana crystals. Dansaku's party show up from a tunnel and orders Jin-woo to kill Sun Jin-woo to be an accomplice or they can die together. They usually pick useless people to join their party so they can loot them once they die. Dansaku gave Jin-woo a way out because he thinks Jin-woo defeated the spider, so his gear must have special effects. Jin-woo walks up to Sun Jin-woo and turns around to defend him. Dansaku orders his men to take out Sun Jin-woo first because he is the weakest and they approach him with killing intent. Suddenly, Sun Jin-woo gets an urgent quest to defeat Dansaku's party. Kaiyuan takes the opportunity to blast Sun Jin-woo back when he wasn't paying attention. On the other side, Heejin meets with Gina and Bora at a cafe. Bora tells Heejin how amazing Haing was when she was dealing with an A-rank dungeon during their training together, and they feel very lucky to be in the top guilds within the country. Back at the dungeon, Jin-woo is angry Dansaku would commit such evil deeds. Sun Jin-woo is angry at himself for forgetting how cruel the world is while he's blacking out. The system warns Sun Jin-woo if he fails a quest he's going to die, and he gets up to kill him. The others are surprised Sun Jin-woo is still alive, and Dansaku jokes around after seeing Sun Jin-woo walk towards them. Sun Jin-woo warns them, but Juntai doesn't take him seriously. When Juntai is talking, Sun Jin-woo executes him, and Dansaku wonders how Sun Jin-woo killed Juntai, who is a rank above Sun Jin-woo. Sun Jin-woo is opposed to murdering people, but he would have died if he didn't, so he chose to survive by killing them. They start attacking Sun Jin-woo, but he is able to deflect incoming attacks or dodge in time to make counterattacks. The two that got hit got a debuff, letting Sun Jin-woo easily defeat them. He takes out the marksman and then the mage afterwards. Dansaku is shocked because Sun Jin-woo easily took out his team and he gets ready by buffing up. He rushes Sun Jin-woo, but Sun Jin-woo grabs him and smashes him into the ground. Dansaku begs for his life by paying him off, but Sun Jin-woo isn't having it because he tried to kill Sun Jin-woo 3 times. He threatens Sun Jin-woo with his brother, but Sun Jin-woo chops his head off. The dungeon starts to close, and once they get out, they get questioned because they are the only survivors. The lady sees Jin-woo's gear and assumes he did all the work. Sun Jin-woo checks his reward and checks out what the murderous intent skill does. She leaves once she's done with the questions, and Jin-woo thanks Sun Jin-woo for everything he's done so far. An agent shows Jincho a raid Sun Jin-woo was in, and the agent found it odd they defeated the boss with only the 2 of them surviving. He brought this up to Jincho because Dansaku's brother might cause an issue. Sun Jin-woo goes home after the raid with fried chicken and he can finally pay for his mom's hospital bills and their daily expenses. Jinna is surprised Sun Jin-woo didn't come home with injuries and assumed he was with a strong party. Sun Jin-woo realized when he was dealing with Dansaku's party he didn't hesitate at all and didn't believe they had a chance against him, but if it was his old self he would have tried to escape. Right now his priorities are getting stronger for his family and staying alive. When he was drinking, the system detoxed the alcohol from his body. He tries to drink again later and finds out about the buff that keeps him healthy. Sun Jin-woo meets with Jinno at a cafe and he is relieved Jinno didn't tell anybody what happened in the raid. Jinno wants to make a strike team with him because he wants to be a guild master to help out his family business which wants to create a guild. He offers 30 billion for 19 C rank raids, but Sun Jin-woo refused because his leveling system could promote him over to S rank and he doesn't want to work with someone else. Before Sun Jin-woo leaves, he promised to take his secret to the grave, but Sun Jin-woo still leaves. On the other side, Dansu knew his brother was murdered and he asked Laura what would happen if he killed someone abroad. Depending on where he has the trial, it might be a slap on the wrist. Due to his busy schedule, Sun Jin-woo and Jinno has more time to live. In the morning, Sun Jin-woo and Jinna goes out for a run and he ditches her because she can't keep up. When he checked his daily quest, he noticed he could do more, so he doubled everything and the daily quest changed to a secret quest. He opened a random loot box and got another key from it. The key opens to the Demon Castle dungeon, which is an S rank difficulty. In the dungeon, he can find ingredients to make the elixir of life to heal all diseases. He visits his mom later that night and decides to do the dungeon. If this dungeon is an S rank difficulty, then it is around the level of Jeju Island where the other S rank hunter failed their raid. He's not sure if he can finish the dungeon, so he has a teleportation stone out just in case. A 3-headed monster show up right out of the gate when he enters the dungeon and a red label is on his name. Sun Jin-woo mentally prepares and rushes in to fight the beast. His attacks does very little damage to the beast and he is forced to back off when the beast attacks. He uses his murderous intent skill, but the beast cancels the debuff. He attacks it again, but the beast cancels the paralysis and drain debuff. The beast bites off Sun Jin-woo's arm, and when the beast stomps on him, the system gives him a warning. He dodges the next attack, and the system informs him the beast is using its rage skill, giving it a stat boost. Sun Jin-woo gets knocked away, and he uses his daily recovery because his HP is getting too low. When he recovered, he attacked the beast's eyes but got knocked back when he got distracted. It's a one-sided battle where the beast is just wrecking Sun Jin-woo. When his HP goes below 30%, he gets a willpower buff which reduces the damage he takes. He tries to use the teleportation stone, but the beast knocks the stone out of his hand when it attacked. Sun Jin-woo gets to a safe place to buy a potion from the store to recover, but it didn't recover that much, so he decides to take the poison to fight the beast. He starts attacking it with everything he's got, but the beast gets a hold of him. He doesn't give up and keeps on stabbing it until he defeats the beast. When he defeats it, he levels up and he is relieved because he is fully healed. He gets another key which opens the gate to the demon's castle and the formula to make the elixir of life. The items to make the elixir can be found in the demon's castle, and he understands he's still too weak to continue the dungeon. He knows he's going to die if he continues, but he's 100% determined to come back when he's stronger. After leaving the dungeon, Sun Jin-woo visits his mom, Park Hyung-hye, while looking at the elixir of life formula. He knows where to get the items to make the elixir, but it will be dumb to enter the castle without getting stronger. Sun Jin-woo meets with Jin-woo to accept his offer because he wants to get stronger. Jin-woo is excited, but Sun Jin-woo's condition is that they do the dungeon alone. He is shocked, but he reminds Sun Jin-woo they need at least 8 people to enter a C-rank dungeon. Sun Jin-woo gets him to hire hunters like what Dansaku did. Jin-woo is worried, but Sun Jin-woo assures him that it would look better if the two of them clear 19 dungeons to impress Jin-woo's dad, Yoo Myung-hyung. He excitedly agrees to Sun Jin-woo's condition and will deal with getting members and the gates. On the other side, Hang is training, and once she sits down, she calls the person watching her to come out. A manager from Eugene Construction gives his business card to her because he wants to scout her to become the guild master of their new guild. Joing talks to Yuno about the higher-ups sealing off Jeju Island because of the failed raid. He is frustrated because he can't forget what happened there, and he wants to clear the island with the help from other guilds in the future. That's why he let Yuno have the interview while they focus on training new hunters. He also reminds Yuno about the friends they lost before Yuno left. Haing meets with Joing after Yuno about the Eugene group trying to poach her. He knew she declined their offer because she told him about it and thanks her for her honesty. Jin-woo and Myung-hyung talks about creating a guild because they can no longer operate without the resources from the dungeons. Hunters are the only one that can get the resources, but they are overseen by the public institution. Myung-hyung doesn't like how they handle the gates or the hunters because the hunter association is nothing more than a function of the state. This is why the guilds are filthy rich, because they can get hunters to collect resources from the dungeon. He contributed to the country before the gates showed up, so he wants a piece of the pie, and that's why they must create a guild. After the meeting, Sun Jin-woo does his daily quest, but he noticed the system isn't counting the extra reps anymore. With his stats so high, the 3 extra stat points aren't enough to make a real change anymore. He wants to level up more, but he has to wait on Jin-woo for the C-rank dungeons. The penalty zone might help, but he doesn't know if he can beat the centipede. Sun Jin-woo gets a request to participate in a D-rank gate from the Hunters Association, but that means he can't fight alone. He wants to deny it, but he takes it because he has nothing to do. Other D-rank hunters get requested also, but their friends and family try to stop them from going. Too bad for them, they need the money to provide for their living expenses. A shady deal goes down where an old man wants some people dead. Chio meets with Sun Jin-woo on the way to the gate, and he is amazed at Sun Jin-woo's transformation. They reunite with everyone from the incident, but they can't face Sun Jin-woo. Prisoners show up afterwards, and they are pissed off that they have to work with criminals to clear the gate. The prisoners are there because they are short on hunters and to reduce their prison term. B-rank and Tishi from the association will be watching over the prisoners if they do anything. Sun Jin-woo tells Juhi to sit this one out, but she wants to go because Sun Jin-woo is also going. Taeshik warns the prisoners not to mess around and reassures the rest of them. Chil takes a leader role again and thanks Sun Jin-woo because he messed up last time, so Sun Jin-woo had to save the rest of them. Once the leader role is set, they prepare to go into the gate. Well, that's it for Solo Leveling Episode 8. If you got up to this far and want to watch some more recaps, here are some options on the side. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.